Oh, hey everybody. Today I am coming to you live from the jungles of Val Verde, the Val Verde rainforest, where if you're joining us, I'm sure you know what the show is. This is Every Movie Ever. This is the show where we review every movie ever made. But we've been getting your letters and your emails, and I realize that some of you are wondering, why are you reviewing every movie ever made? And it's because I've been hired by a crazed billionaire who does not have the time to watch all these movies. And so he's hired me to watch them for him and review them all. And now he's also sending me all over the world. Today, like I say, to this rainforest, I don't know why, but he's still making me review every movie ever made. So here we go. And today, he has asked us to review only movies starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone, and Jean-Claude Van Damme. So that's what we're going to do. It's a muscle special. And we're going to start with Arnold, and we're going to start with Conan the Barbarian, one of Arnie's first movies, adapted from the Marvel comic books and the novels by that guy whose name I can't remember right now, which came, of course, before the Marvel comic books. And Conan is the story of Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's a barbarian whose parents are killed, and he has to go and track down the sorcerer played by James Earl Jones to get revenge on him for killing his family. It's an okay movie. It's the production design, I think, lets it down a little bit. Some good Arnold lines in it. They ask him at one point, Arnold, what is best in life? And he says, to see your enemies driven before you. Wait, what does he say? That's not the right line, folks. I should be able to remember the line. Arnold, what is best in life? I don't know, but it's something about to see your enemies driven before you and to hear the lamentation of the women. It's a fair movie. It's not Arnie's best. I'm going to say 2.5 stars. Up next, we've got Arnold's probably most iconic role, of course, the Terminator. This is some high-quality Arnold. Now, a lot of people, they like Terminator 2 better. Not me. I like Terminator. I like the first one more. I think it's where the ideas are. The effects maybe aren't as advanced, but I like that kind of 80s effect. I like Michael Biehn in it. Obviously, you've got Linda Hamilton as Sarah Connor is terrific. Arnold is in probably his best role as the Terminator, which, saying that Arnold's best acting job is playing an emotional robot is, maybe a little insulting. But, one of the things I've always thought is the best about Arnold is how he's kind of a walking special effect. Like, nobody is that big, but he has the charisma to back it up, too. He's not just some musclehead, he's Arnold, and we love these movies because of Arnold. Terminator, of course, the great Stan Winston special effects, some obviously great Arnold lines, of course, I'll be back, right? And then he drives the police car into the police station. Pretty good stuff. 4 stars. Arnold returns to the whole barbarian thing, of course, in Red Sonja, the movie which starred Brigitte Nielsen as the Red Sonja. Now, I had thought that he made this before Conan, but I was wrong. This is a later movie, so it's kind of weird that he's playing second banana to Brigitte Nielsen in this one. But what are you going to do? It's campy. It's kind of a camp classic. Not much more else to say about it. Mild recommendation, worth 2 stars. Commando, this is the one where Arnold is John Matrix, ex-CIA agent, whose daughter Alyssa Milano gets kidnapped, and he's, got to go save her. A lot of great mayhem in this one, and especially a great fight scene in a mall. Some excellent Arnold lines in this one. A lot of deaths, so if you're big into the body count, this is one for you. Some great Arnold lines. They say to it when they first attack Arnold's house out in the middle of nowhere. So the good guys say to him, "How did you know they were coming?" And he goes, "I could smell them," which is ridiculous. And then, of course, there's the part where he tells the smarmy bad guy, "I like you. I'll kill you last." But then he doesn't kill him last, and the guy's like, "I thought you were going to kill me last." And Arnold goes, "I lied." And then he kills him. Terrific movie, 3.5 stars. Then there's Predator. Predator teams up Arnold with a bunch of other awesome muscle guys like Carl Weathers and Jesse Ventura, former governor of this here state, which of course makes Predator the rare two-governor movie. Because Arnold was governor of California, right? Predator's great. What else can you say? You know, that's the one where they're in the jungle. They're in the jungles of... Wait a second. They're in the jungle of Val Verde, which is where I am right now. I hope there's not anything after me here. I better get through these movies. Oh boy, it's a great movie. A little known fact, did you know that Jean-Claude Van Damme played the Predator for a while? But then they changed the design. He was like this weird shrimpy alien, but then they changed the design to, of course, the famous Predator design, and they got rid of Jean-Claude. Terrific movie, great action, great, great fighting and killing, some good Arnold lines when he looks at the leaf, they look at the leaf and they see the Predator's blood on it, and of course we get the, if it bleeds, we can kill it. Terrific movie. Gavin, what am I giving this one? 4 stars is absolutely right. Of course, he wouldn't be Arnold without trying to do some comedies. I think some of them really work and some of them don't. Twins is one for me, the one where his twin is Danny DeVito. It's one of the ones that for me doesn't really work too well. It gets really bogged down in the plot for me, personally. Not a huge fan, 2 stars. Now, my favorite Arnold movie, and I know it's not everybody's favorite, but it's my favorite, is Total Recall. The one where Arnold, we're supposed to somehow believe that Arnold's some regular schlub who then goes into a place where they implant memories in your brain to give you like a fake vacation. He goes in and finds out that he's actually a CIA agent who was helping the Martian resistance. It's in the future, folks. Helping the Martian resistance get out from under the thumb of Cohagen. You don't know who Cohagen is, it doesn't matter. I love this movie. It's so weird. So many great effects. Terrific direction from, of course, the great Paul Verhoeven, who made so many great, bizarre sci-fi satires like Starship Troopers and RoboCop. I love Total Recall. Again, some great Arnold lines, the best of which is, of course, "Get your ass to Mars." And then you've got the guy who's I got 3 kids to feed. He's in that movie. You got the Johnny Cab. It's a great movie. And you got Quado. Don't forget about Quado. When the alien guy comes out of the guy's stomach, he's free your mind, Quaid. Right? I love me some Total Recall. 4.5 stars. Now, Kindergarten Cop is, for me, a comedy that works. Arnold Schwarzenegger's got to teach little kids in kindergarten. Hilarious. Again, it's another movie where once the plot shows up, it gets a little like, oh, man. But that whole second act where he's just being the undercover cop or FBI agent or whatever the heck he is, trying to teach these little kids, that's some quality stuff. Again, some classic Arnold lines. You've got, "It's not a tumor," and you've got, "It's a ferret." I love it when he takes out that ferret, man. 3 stars. So let's talk about Terminator 2. I talked about Terminator. Terminator 2 is good. It's a good movie. I'm not going to say it's not. For me, I love about the first half of it, and then I find the second half of it a little bit boring. Once they get out of town and they go to rendezvous with Sarah Connor's old, militia pals, and then they have to infiltrate Technodyne or whatever, I kind of lose interest. But that whole beginning with the T-1000 and fighting him in the mall and that great chase where Arnold's on the motorcycle and the T-1000's in the semi, that stuff's great. Arnold shows up at the mall with the shotgun and the box of roses. That's great. And then they go to the mental ward to bust Sarah Connor out. That's great, but like I say, then I kind of lose a little bit of interest. You got your hasta la vista babies in this one, right? It's pretty good. I'm going to give it 3 stars. Now, the last action hero, it's kind of a turkey, right? This is the movie where a little kid gets a magical movie ticket that when he tears it, he gets transported inside of a movie starring Arnold Schwarzenegger that's all big and super ridiculous and stuff. It's got some fun touches, like that one of the detectives on the force with Arnold is a cartoon cat. And I like the scene where they go to a video store inside of the movie and there's a poster or like a display for Terminator 2 and it stars Stallone. It's stupid. It's a real stupid movie. Charles Dance from Game of Thrones is the bad guy. He's got all these different glass eyes that have like smiley faces and like gun targets on them and stuff. It's real dumb. I kind of like it though. 2.5 stars. Junior is the worst of the Arnold Schwarzenegger comedies. This is the one where Arnold gets pregnant and Danny DeVito and him are like both like scientists or something trying to figure out a way for men to get pregnant because we need to take one other thing from the ladies. This movie sucks. It's 1.5 stars. Terminator 3, that's right. You kind of forgot that there were more Terminator movies, didn't you? Terminator 3 is the one with Kristanna Loken as the Terminatrix, the lady Terminator, where it's again, Terminator's a good guy again, trying to save John Connor from a lady Terminator that is oddly a worse model than the T-1000, because she's like liquid metal on top of a regular Terminator, but so then she can't just like ooze through grates and stuff, so what's the point of that? Am I right? Nick Stahl plays John Connor this time around, an older John Connor. This is not a great movie. I do like at the end that the end's a super bummer and Skynet kind of wins at the end. That's kind of fun, but it's a pretty dumb movie. I'm between 2 and 2.5 stars on this one. I do like the part where they go to Sarah Connor's grave and the Terminator digs up her casket, and inside the casket is just a bunch of guns for the Terminator to use. It's really between 2 and 2.5 stars. Gavin, 2 or 2.5? 2 stars sounds right to me. I brought Gavin to Val Verde with me, by the way. That was probably a bad idea. Now we're going to skip over the 4th Terminator movie, Terminator Salvation, because Arnold's only sort of in it. And we're going to go ahead to the 5th Terminator movie, Terminator Genisys. Now, when Terminator Genisys came out, there were a lot of bad reviews for it, and people said this movie's really bad, but I was like, well, I want to see it. I mean, come on, how bad can a Terminator be? And this one's got Khaleesi in it, and who doesn't like Khaleesi? Let me tell you, folks, it's a bad movie. It's a bad movie. 1.5 stars. Now, The Escape Plan, this is a recent Arnold movie. I feel like not a lot of people love it. I love it. This is, at long last, Sly and Arnold. So this also kind of bridges us into Sly territory. But at long last, Sly and Arnold team up for a movie where they're both locked up in a super maximum security prison. And of course, Stallone's a good guy who's been thrown in there wrongly. And they have to break out of this super crazy, super future prison that Jim Caviezel, who played Jesus in Passion of the Christ. So Jesus is the warden of this prison that Arnold and Sly have to break out of. Kind of dumb, but the good kind of dumb. I like this movie a lot. It suffers from not being particularly inventive or creative, but to see these two titans on the screen together is more than enough to be worth it. 3.5. All right, let's start talking about some more Stallone movies. Let's talk about Cobra. Crime is the disease, folks. He's the cure. This is some classic 80s Stallone, where Stallone is a I don't know what the word I'm looking for. He's a troubled police officer, I guess, who's more than ready to just like shoot a dude in the face. Starts with a great sequence in a supermarket where he has to is kind of a gun showdown with a guy. There's a weird, I think Brigitte Nielsen's in this one too. I feel like Brigitte Nielsen's the lady. Write in the comments if I'm misremembering that. So there's this super weird montage in the middle where Brigitte Nielsen is like doing a fashion shoot that involves robots. It's real weird. This movie's pretty weird. Super violent in a good way as Sly needs to go up against and take down an axe murderer and his cult of axe murderers. Pretty good stuff. 3.5 stars. Tango and Cash, Sly, and Kurt Russell. I love me some Kurt Russell. So let's get these guys on screen together as apparently the two most famous headline-grabbing cops in town as they need to go up against Curly from the City Slickers movies, Jack Palance. I don't love this one. This one doesn't really work for me. It's got Terry Hatcher in it, as I think she's Stallone's sister. That Kurt Russell falls for, and there's a whole sequence where Kurt Russell has to dress up like a lady to get away from some bad guys and stuff. It's not great for me. I'm going to give it 2 stars. Demolition Man is an unquestionably phony and bad movie that I sometimes can't help but want to watch, where Stallone is frozen and then thought out in the future to help the police stop super evil guy Wesley Snipes, who is also from the past and also been thought out in the future. Sandra Bullock co-stars in this one as a fellow future cop. This movie's weird and dumb, but you know, the part that's always worth remembering, folks, you gotta know how to use those 3 seashells. You gotta. 2 stars. In Rhinestone, Sly teams up with Dolly Parton to make a crummy movie. 1.5 stars. We're going over the top for this next review, folks. Over the top, of course, the great. I think I can say this. I don't think anybody here in the jungle is going to disagree with me, but I think I can safely say that this is America's finest arm wrestling movie. As Sylvester Stallone meets the son he doesn't know about, and they take a cross-country trip to go to an arm wrestling tournament in Sly's semi. Oh man. You hear about good bad movies, this is a great bad movie. It's gotta be seen to be believed when Sly's cruising down the highway in his semi and he's got a weight set up in the cab so he can be working out his wrestling arm while they're driving. This movie's, you gotta love it. 3.5 stars for Over the Top. You guys ever see Stop or My Mom Will Shoot? This is the movie where Sylvester Stallone's a cop, and the lady from the Golden Girls, Sophia from Golden Girls, is his mom, and I guess she might shoot you. You know what I gotta say about this movie? 1 star. Now with The Expendables, this was the movie where Sly decided to kind of come back to the action film world. Gosh, it's probably been 8 or 9 years ago now, and team up with other action stars like Dolph Lundgren, and I think Jet Li is in it, to make, you know, kind of a retro action movie. It's not retro, and Statham's in it. We all know that Statham is great. It's not quite retro enough for my taste. It's all right. It never quite does what I want it to do. 2.5 stars. So let's leave Slyland and let's visit with the muscles from Brussels, Jean-Claude Van Damme himself. Let's talk a little Bloodsport. Bloodsport is, of course, the great kickboxing movie. I just took out that whole tree. It's a great kickboxing movie where Jean-Claude Van Damme is a kickboxer at a big kickboxing tournament that's semi-illegal, I guess. It's dumb, but it's fun dumb. I'd recommend it at 2.5 stars. Double Team this is the one where Van Damme's got to team up with Dennis Rodman. The whole press for it leads, and the name, of course, leads you to think, oh, Dennis Rodman's got to be in this movie a lot. He's not in it very much. Jean-Claude Van Damme is essentially James Bond in a movie that's essentially The Prisoner, where he's an elite spy who gets retired and sent to a weird island of other retired spies that he has to escape, and Dennis Rodman's like his M. It's a pretty dumb movie. There's some fun Van Damme stuff in it. Like he does these weird like lifts with a bathtub where he like puts like a rope around his neck and uses his neck to like lift his bathtub direction. I don't know. It's all right. 2.5. The Quest is largely a remake of Bloodsport, where Van Damme gets involved in another illegal fighting tournament, except this time it's like the past, and Van Damme's like a newsie or something, and he travels across the ocean to compete with guys who have different fighting styles, except they never really take advantage of that conceit. So you never really get to see him like kickboxing dudes with swords and stuff. I don't think this movie's all that good. What are we talking about on this one, Gavin? Yeah, how many stars? 2 stars sounds right. 2 stars. Now, Time Cop is probably my favorite Van Damme movie. This is the one where he's Time Cop. That's a cop who stops you if you're time traveling and you're being a naughty time traveler. pretty dumb. This, of course, has the classic doing the splits on the kitchen counter sequence. You know, Van Damme, he's no Sly, and he's certainly no Arnold. He's got a charm to him, but even my favorite Van Damme movie is only going to get 2.5 stars. So that's it for Every Movie Ever this week. Thanks for joining us. I'm going to get out of this rainforest before one of them predators or something shows up. I don't know where I'm being sent next week, but we'll see you then when I'll keep reviewing Every Movie Ever.